Hi guys, Allison here. I was going to do another topic for today's video, but as the old saying goes, life happens when you're making other plans. Uh, and that's the second time that's happened to me in about 2.5 months. So, anyway, kind of changed direction for me, and I'm going to talk today about a topic that I certainly can identify with right now, and maybe some of you can identify with as well. And that is dealing with things that are out of our control, dealing with things that are outside of our control in life. It's one of the most difficult and challenging things that anyone can deal with. When I used to teach psychology, I would discuss with my students that the most stressful thing we humans tend to deal with are things that are unpredictable and out of our control, which means we really, it's not something we can either predict that's going to happen. It happens all of a sudden, and we also don't really have any control over it. We can't just, do a simple thing and make it go away. And I think that most of you can identify with this, so I'm going to talk a little bit more about this today and share what's, in short detail, what's going on with me right now. So, things that are out of our control, those include health issues, they include other people we know, just, getting sick, maybe themselves, people who die suddenly, being in an accident, losing our job suddenly, having someone steal from us, having our house go up in flames. There's all kinds of unpredictable, out of control things that happen in our lives. Well, what happened to me is that if you've been watching my videos, you know that about 2.5 months ago, I got the illness that a lot of people get at this particular time. I don't want to say the name of it again, or YouTube's gonna flag it. But you can go back and watch my videos. I made 2 videos related to that, and so I recovered from that. And then about 2 to 3 weeks ago, I got this weird throat thing where one side of my throat is sore. When I talk, it kind of bothers me. As you know, I play music and sing. When I sing, it bothers me. So I've been not singing much lately, and it's really it's a pain to even talk. So it's not making me not be able to speak, but it's irritable, and when I swallow, it's irritating. I don't have any problem eating, and I went in. I finally, anyway, it was bothering me, and it felt like it was getting better a couple times, and then it kind of got worse again. And it's affected, like, my tongue will feel sore from it. It's like right behind where the tongue is, it felt like it was my tonsil. And so I went in finally to an urgent care just yesterday, and I was hoping they'd be able to look at my throat and tell exactly what that was or anything. And I thought maybe it was something called tonsil stones, if any of you have ever heard of that. I've had that in the past where I've gotten it. Didn't bother me as much as like this particular episode, but I was sure that maybe it was a tonsil stone and it just wasn't coming out or whatever. Well, when I went into urgent care, the nurse practitioner looked at it and said, I don't really see a tonsil stone. And then she pointed out something I'd never even thought of, which is salivary stones. And I'm thinking, I've never even heard of that. And so a whole new thing to be concerned about. And apparently you can't really see those necessarily. So anyway, but she did look, and she said, yeah, my tonsil was, a little bit, irritated and swollen, kind of thing. So she said that there was some sort of bug going around. It wasn't related to the other thing I had, but there was a bug going around that caused people to have a sore throat for a long period of time, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. But it's weird because this is really only on one side. So she said, well, it's possible it's a bacterial thing at this point, so and she looked at my ear, my right ear, and she said it looked a little weird, down, whatever. And if any of you are nurses or doctors out there, I don't know enough about this stuff. Anyway, so she said, well, let's give you some antibiotics. And so I started taking those. I took one yesterday, and then I've taken 2 today. and hasn't really had a huge effect at this point. It's, when I don't speak, it's not too bothersome, but when I talk or whatever, it just, like, if I press in right here on my neck, it's like feels better. Like, so anyway, the thing is I've got an unknown thing. And my point in making this video today is, when the one thing that's always gotten to me all my life, as much as I have skills to deal with a lot of stuff, the one thing that's always gotten me is when I get a medical issue that I don't know what it is, and it just keeps going on and on. Now, if you can identify with that, this will make a lot of sense to you. If it doesn't, I hope you never experience this. But I've had this happen some other times in my life where I've gotten weird symptoms. The doctors can't figure out what it is, seems to go on, and it's just a nightmare for me. I get very stressed out by it because you just don't know what you're dealing with. When you know what you're dealing with, then that's a whole other issue. When I got sick a couple months ago, I knew what it was, didn't bother me, didn't stress me out. It's like I just dealt with it. This is a little different because she wasn't entirely sure yesterday what it was, and she said, well, the antibiotic doesn't take care of it. Go see your regular doctor. And it's just kind of freaking me out a bit because I don't know what it is. I've never had anything quite exactly like it. Things that are similar. Anyway, the point is not to belabor that, but it prompted me thinking about this, which is why I changed the topic for the video, about when things are out of our control and they're unpredictable and we don't understand them. It does tend to make people freak out a bit. And I would say it's on a scale like from 1 to 10 or 0 to 10, how much you're actually freaked out. Most people don't like things out of their control. I remember years and years ago when I was really young, in my 20s, and this woman came to give some sort of motivational talk where I worked. And she was talking about how, I control all the aspects of my day. I control everything that happens to me. And even at the time, I was sitting there listening to her thinking, well, you don't have control over everything. You can control how much you exercise and what you eat and how carefully you drive. But that doesn't mean something's not going to happen to you. I even recognized that in my 20s. So the point is, people who think they have complete control over their lives, that's an illusion. That's not the way the world works. That's not the way life works. So most of us have to live with the fact that things are going to happen outside of our control. Unpredictable things come out of the blue at us, and we have to deal with them. So I'm going to share with you how I deal with this, how I'm trying to deal with this, and maybe that will help some of you who have either gone through something like this or are going through it. And that is, I basically have to kind of pull back and go, okay, I don't have control over what's happening here. I don't know exactly what it is. I don't know how long it's going to last, but I can still, move forward. As I've talked in other videos about, you have to just keep moving forward, one step in front of the other. So, I spent extra time in meditation today. I went for a walk. I basically put my mind on other things, things that I do have control over, because when you're dealing with something you don't have control over, it really helps to focus on things that you do have control over. So I did that, and that's how I'm going to have to go day by day, hour by hour, whatever, until this thing resolves and goes away, and hopefully it does, and I can breathe a sigh of relief. So the point is, nobody likes things that are uncomfortable and out of our control. And I would say, I'm going back to that scale that I talked about, 0 to 10. The stress from things out of our control for most people is always at least a 2. I don't think anybody, maybe a Zen master has no stress about that, but most people have at least a 2. I would say on Friday and yesterday, what provoked me to go to the clinic, I would say my anxiety had gone up to about an 8 about the stress over this. I would say right now it's about between a 5 and a 6. And my goal is to get that a little lower so that I'm not so stressed about it and I let my body kind of do what it needs to do. But I wanted to come on here and make this video because I know a lot of you deal with that. All of us deal with that. And maybe it will help you to hear my story and to hear what the things that I do that help it make it a little bit better. So this has kind of been a little rambling. Sorry for that today. But anyway, I'll check in with you next time. Hopefully I don't have to talk about this again. And until next time, be well yourselves and keep moving forward. Take care. Bye.